I mean, shoot, boy, how many times have I tried to tell you? There ain't no meat on a deer's ribs. Not when I get done with them, there ain't. What's going on, guys? Jason Morris here. Glad you're joining me today for this one. All right, hope y'all know that I'm just poking a little bit of fun at some of you guys that do make a similar statement to this. Okay, but seriously, it's an honest question. Is there enough meat on a deer's ribs to make it worth the effort of processing it and saving it? Well, let's find out. Stay right there. Okay, before we get to cutting, I just wanted to show you guys real quick. This is both halves of rib cage of actually a young small deer, about 100-pound deer, okay? And I'm showing you this to kind of make a little bit of a point. The older a deer is, this brisket meat right here, this would be where your brisket is, and the thickness on these ribs right here just gets so much deeper, okay? There's actually quite a bit of muscle right in here. So if you look right here, this is the inside, it's the inside, so this is the outside where all that meat is, and right here is your brisket. Now this gets pretty thick with age, okay, but this is why I'm so adamant about not splitting that brisket when I'm field dressing, because then you open all this brisket meat up to just get all trashed up, and if it does, you're not going to sit there and pick all it out, you're just going to trim it off and waste it. So just wanted to show you guys that, and we're going to go ahead, I'm going to break one down to be able to cook as whole ribs. They're excellent, barbecue sauce, dry seasoning, give them a little sear. And then the other one, I'm going to go ahead and basically just fillet it off the ribs. This can be done real quick in the field if you're packing your meat out in a game bag. And then you can just, as long as everything's clean, you just grind it up with all your other meat. Okay, so let's get started. Alright guys, so what we've got here is 1/2 of a rack of ribs that if you process your deer out the way I do, this is what you're going to end up with, 1/2 on some deer ribs, okay? So obviously this isn't going to package up very well, so I'll show you, like I said, two different methods. One for the bone in, and all this can be done with a knife or a cleaver, a good heavy duty knife, preferably though a cleaver. And then the other way I do it is to be able to just use this meat and grind it up, in which case you can just use the same little knife that I like using, a little 3.5, 4-inch blade, wicked sharp. So this is 1/2. Let's go ahead and get going on this. So we're going to do this as bone in. We're going to pop in right there, get a nice little section, and just split these ribs off into two separate sections. Right in here you're going to run into those bones where they kind of turn, but we're just going to pop through those. Alright, this is not a very good cleaver. If you guys have a better, heavier duty cleaver, decent solid table, like I've got this picnic table and a cutting board, you can go through a deer's ribs real easily, okay? This is not a great cleaver, but it'll do the job. Alright, one section. Now, there you go. There's 1/2 of ribs right there that are ready to be packaged up, bone in, and I'm telling you guys, these, if you haven't tried these, I may go ahead and do do a short video and show you guys my most favorite way of preparing these ribs is just to dry season them, sear them out on the grill, and then go ahead and finish them off like in a slow cooker or a pressure cooker. You don't overcook them because this meat will just literally, the bones will just pull right out of the meat, which is okay too. Add your little barbecue sauce, you know, whatever spices you might like to zing it up a little bit. Put it in a pressure cooker. These things are absolutely excellent, guys. So I urge you to try it. All right, that's one way. Took what? 3 minutes. We're done with that side. Let me show you the other way on the opposing side of ribs. So before we get going with this other side, I want to show y'all real quick. This is just a quarter of a section of the ribs. And there goes my phone going off again. People texting me. I don't really have coyotes around here howling. That's my phone. But I just want to show y'all, this is a much older deer. And this is a quarter of a section of ribs off of an older deer. So you can imagine how much meat you actually get off of one of these, you know, a bigger deer. This was maybe 130, 140 pound deer. That's a quarter of the ribs. Alright guys, this is this other side off of that same deer that we just chopped the ribs down. And I'm not going to be in a great big hurry with this. Show you all how nice and clean this is. You know, not any hair or anything like that. So when you're starting with a section of ribs like this, it's so much quicker, easier, and more of a pleasure to be able to just bone this out and grind it up. But I thought we might play a neat little game while we're going ahead and doing this. And that's just go ahead and let's name some things, and you guys can kind of play along down there in the comments. Let's name some things that are smaller than deer ribs, less meat, that people go to the trouble of harvesting and messing with. I think that'd be fun. Because here's what I'm not sure of, is if this is kind of a prevailing idea, elsewhere besides here in the South. You know, I look in my analytics and realize that I've got subscribers rather, in the UK and Canada, obviously different parts of the US. And I'm just mentioning, I'm just basically filleting this meat off the bone, just following the rib bones, just like you would filleting a fish, okay? But yeah, so I've got subscribers, you know, different parts of the US, Canada, UK, and so forth. And I don't know if you guys from different areas ever hear that, you know, deer's ribs really aren't worth saving. Just toss them to the coyotes or, you know, the predators or whatever. I'd be interested in knowing that. But it is something I've heard quite a bit down here in the South. People just don't seem to go to the trouble of doing this. And, you know, I guess if you're having to pack all your meat out and there's you know, you're in bear country, okay, maybe just leave the ribs behind. I get you. No big deal. But if you have the ability, like I do, I just don't see throwing all this meat away and not using it myself. But yeah, let's name a few things. Let's see, here's one that comes to mind. Shrimp. How many people you know will take the time to sit here and peel and devein these teeny little shrimp? You get this little morsel of meat. A lot less meat than on these ribs. How about dove? How much money is spent and effort, guys going out blowing loads and loads of rounds of shot shells to get these 2 itty bitty pieces of dove breast meat. I'm gonna stop with those, let y'all think of some. But I'm just saying, I think it's worth the effort. You may not. Okay. know, since I'm boning this out so I can go ahead and grind it up, it ain't got to be super pretty. If I don't get it real tight, that's fine. And come back in here and just go ahead and, you know, get that little bit off and put it in the grind. Alright, now I've got the meat off of the outside of the ribs, the brisket and everything. So we got your ribs. Now, good sharp knife. You go right back down in here and take these little sections out if you want to go to that much trouble. It doesn't take but a second with a sharp knife. Just follow the rib bones. It curves right there at the end. And get out these little chunks of meat that are in between each individual rib. Okay? Now, once again, this has got to go through the grind. There's going to be some waste, a little bit of fat trimming. Not much. But without taking out each individual piece right here, and again, that's a young deer. I guess I should have brought the scales out. What do you think? Worth the effort? Alright, y'all. So glad y'all hung out with me today for this one. Hope you got something useful out of this. If you did, how about shooting me a thumbs up down there before you go? It really does help the channel out. And I definitely appreciate that. All of the comments y'all leave me. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But to answer the question, is there enough meat on a deer's ribs to make it worth processing and saving? Well, you know what? The only one that's really going to be able to answer that for you is you. So I hope you go ahead and save your next set of deer ribs. Try to cook them up, save them, grind them up, whatever you're going to do with them. And see for yourself. Alright, y'all. Until the next video, y'all take care. God bless. And remember, get more outdoors. Hey Gracie. Come here. What you think about that? That's what I thought you'd think about that.